So Natasha, thanks for being with us, and please feel free to introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. So thank you for the introduction, Savan. So yeah, I'm Natasha. I'm from the UK originally. I first moved out to Dubai a long time ago when the landscape, especially in aesthetics, was very different to how it is now. And I spent a lot of time working for a very well-known brand over here. I was very fortunate. And then I decided to try Asia, and I was running a chain of osteopathy, physiotherapy, and women's health clinics. And I came back to Dubai this time last year and been very fortunate to have been given a position at Helena Taylor Clinic. And now I'm looking after a fantastic team. We have gynae, pediatrics, aesthetics. The list goes on. So that's where we are at the moment. So I'm really happy to be here today.
Thank you, Natasha, and thank you to the clinic as well for allowing me to be on live. So today I wanted to hear from you as a manager with diverse experience, and not just in Dubai, by the way, but also internationally, UK and Singapore, so that we can speak to our followers and let them know what is really required skill set when it comes to ability nowadays in the market. Because we know that healthcare is not always just healthcare, it's also a business, of course, because we're dealing with paying patients. So when we are dealing with cash, especially in aesthetics, there are certain expectations from the management, from the owner of clinics, in order to build that brand, build that reputation, build that following of patients, because there's a wide range of providers in the market. So as a manager, like, what is it that you are looking for when you're looking to expand the clinic, when you're looking to expand, when you're looking to bring in a new specialty and specialist? What do you look out for?
I mean, aside from making sure that they've got fantastic qualifications and that we sort of can see their work, communication skills now is a huge part of what we're looking for. And when we say communication skills, we don't only mean when they're face-to-face with their patients or how they communicate with the rest of the team. It's also how they can build their audience online, because nowadays the landscape has changed dramatically. And unless a physician or practitioner has a good online presence, then we find that it's more difficult to attract patients to them. So when we're looking for talent, we do look to see if they have a profile online. If they don't, it's not a hard no as to employment, but we will make sure that the candidate is prepared to offer, themselves up to be online, to make sure that they can build their brand, because competition, as everyone that's listening will know, is huge, because everybody wants to be in this wonderful country. So we have to separate ourselves from everybody else, and we have to make sure that everyone knows who we are. And the first place that people look these days is on social media.
Yes, that was going to be my question. We're going to talk a bit more about it in a short while, but is that the reality that nowadays when a patient is to send their baby to the pediatrician, the first thing that they've been going online on social media, Instagram? Would you say that's the case?
I think obviously word of mouth is still the biggest driver, especially when I do my reports each month. Definitely word of mouth is the strongest form of referral source. But social media, and I'm seeing it more and more and more when I'm doing reports monthly, that social media is the second biggest driver to the clinic. And it doesn't matter whether it's where you're bringing your baby or where you're bringing your grandma. Everybody is looking for that physician online.
Interesting. So we'll talk about word of mouth in another Instagram live session at some point, actually, because word of mouth for being patient attraction and retention is, of course, Google reviews, friends and family referrals, testimonials that they might see or hear from other people online or from friends and family. So there's a lot of ways to build your mouth as well as being organic most of the time. So thank you very much for that insight. about why those communication and engagement skills are important. And we already touched on the subject of social media, but I'd like to go back to the clinic because when the patients are coming to the clinic, of skills is always a skill set that we all use, whether doctors or therapists or to communicate with clients. Now, doctors and therapists, they have to communicate what they're about to do, the treatment plan to the patients, but they also have to engage, I think, emotionally with the patient and build a kind of trust and connection. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this? How maybe some practitioners are able to build that stronger connection than others sometimes, and what?
I mean, I think with whichever part of the business, people form an emotional connection with whoever they're with, and people have generally made their mind up about you quite quickly when they walk through the door. And I think the way that we need to look at it is we need to be able to explain things in a measured manner. So being educated, not only in, let's take aesthetics as an example. You'll get many people coming through the door asking for a specific machine that they've probably seen on social media. And you have a machine that likely does something very similar, but it doesn't have that name on it. And it's having that knowledge of what everyone else is offering to explain in a way that, look, you know, no, it doesn't have that name stuck on the machine, but it will do the same. And I think it's about reassurance as well, and explaining exactly what you're going to do, because they're so, you know, people come to you in a very sensitive state, and, you know, some of them are taking a big leap with what they're going to do. So they need to feel comfortable. So if you rush them through, because you know what you're doing, but they don't know what's coming next. So being able to explain calmly and confidently what you're going to do, but also to manage expectations. And I really feel that if you get a feeling that it's not right to treat somebody, then it's not right. So you should know when to say no. And in the long run, it's always the best way. So for me, I don't mind if my doctors or practitioners turn somebody away, because generally it's for the right reasons, and everybody should have that in their mind when they're doing a consultation.
And this requires dexterity with the communication to be able to have that confidence to say no.
Yeah. I mean, you should never be afraid to say that, you know, I don't think I can give you what you're wanting to achieve, because, you know, we'll take aesthetics again. How often, I mean, I'm an ex-practitioner, how often do we get people coming in with a photograph saying, I want you to do this to me? You know, fillers are a big example of this. And you look at something and it's impossible to achieve. So rather than just take the quick money, it's always better just to say, I'm really sorry, I don't think we can give you what you're looking for today, and, you know, send them on their way in a nice way.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about social media. Social media, it's not just a way by to attract new patients. I think sometimes the focus is on this kind of pressure to gain new patients. But generally speaking, we need to remember marketing. A lot of marketing money that is spent generally by biggest companies on the planet is not just to gain clients. It's also to continue building that connection with the existing clients. So we can take an example of Apple. For example, you will see big billboards on Checkside Road. Are they trying to sell iPhones by doing that? Probably, but they're also reminding their existing customers that iPhone is the biggest and the huge brand in the market. So you have an iPhone, you feel good because you have an iPhone on a billboard on Checkside Road. So there's always kind of we are big. So same for you back in the clinic. When you appear on social media, you're also talking to your existing patients and continuing to build that connection, that trust to patients. Then, of course, you have new followers that you try and convert into walk-ins in the clinic as well. So I'd like to hear from Natasha on why those skills on social media are important, and also what would be her tips, because it's about, you know, not being too hard on yourself as well. You know, like we're not expecting you as practitioners, you know, to be absolute gurus of video marketing or social media, but yeah, how to start is important.
Yeah, I mean, very honestly, I mean, I think if you look through your videos that you've put on there or your photographs, the ones where there are a few hiccups and the lighting might not be perfect and those kind of real life clips are the ones that get more likes than the ones where we've spent the money to have it all professionally done. Of course, certain videos you want to spend that money on, but your existing patients want to see you because they know who you are, they know they've been to see you, they've sat in your office, they've had that consultation or treatment with you. And, you know, we know, for example, with our wonderful Dr. Helena, as soon as we put a video of her on there, it gets such great engagement and it gets great comments, and people just love to see her because, you know, they've delivered with her, you know, they've got their beautiful baby because of her. And as soon as they see her on Instagram, that's it. They go, you know, they go wild, they love it. And, you know, the same with aesthetics. We have our Dr. Ina, who again, you know, she's a real character, so people love to see that. And I think anything that's too forced is not realistic. I mean, building followers takes time, and there's lots of things that you can do to build. But of course, as Saban says, you need to engage with your existing patients. And I'll give an example. The other day we posted something, and within 2 minutes, there was a lady laying on the bed having a treatment done with Regina, one of our therapists. And instantly she said, "Oh, this has popped up. Do I get this offer today?" You know, so there's people constantly watching. She hadn't liked the post. The post had only had 2 likes, but it showed us that, okay, people are checking our page.
True.
So even if they're not liking, they're looking.
Yeah, very good point. I think all of us can get a little bit obsessed with checking how many likes, how many views, but that's not the only indicator of your reach. You know, like myself personally, I get to like a lot of posts, but I still read them, pay attention to them, might take even action about it later on. So that's a very valid point. And I love your point, Natasha, as well, about authenticity and about the bigger reach of photos and videos on social media rather than educational content. So especially because you're in the medical field, I think first instinct is to create posts that have a lot of interesting medical facts. But in fact, although the patients do read this, they spend less time and less attention on those posts than on and videos. There's a stat out there that right now is 3 times more reach than the stat. So that's why you might get a social media manager, or you might think your marketing manager to sort it all out for you. That's not the answer, because that person is going to ask you back, submit some videos, submit some photos, because they want to be, that's what the patients want to see as well. They want to feel like they know you, they want to hear from you, and they want to learn from you directly. So for that insight, Natasha. I'm wondering whether you have an example maybe of a physician or therapist that you onboarded at any point that maybe totally anti-social media, because I've come across a few like these and I totally understand where they come from. So they come in and they're like, don't ask or expect me to be on social media because I'm not good at it. I don't like it and I don't need it. Have you had this experience?
Oh yeah. And she won't mind me telling you about it either. But yeah, we had a few months ago, we had a very, very well-known doctor starting the clinic, and she has a huge patient base, a huge following, because she's a very, very accomplished doctor. And when it came to, I think, the word Instagram just about got out of my mouth before she'd nearly thrown me across the pantry. And telling me, forget it, I don't do social media, no, 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 no. And in the end, we said, okay, we'll keep quiet about it. And then one day, she was asked to do a video on a topic that's quite important. And she agreed. And once that camera started, she did not stop talking. And we said to her afterwards, you're a complete natural. And she watched herself back and she was, yeah, I am a natural, yeah. And since then, we've never been able to get her off Instagram. So, and she's now set up her own account, and every single day she's posting a video of herself. Now, with her, it's interesting, and this is why it's very important. She has a huge, huge patient base. She's established in Dubai. The online presence wasn't there to, necessarily bring her patients in. It was because she'd moved somewhere, and a lot of people didn't know where she'd gone. And social media really, really helped, because the first thing people did was look for her on Instagram. And eventually, oh, where did you find me? I found you on Instagram. And as soon as she heard that as well, that reaffirmed how important it is to have that presence. And this is why now, moving forward with anyone that we employ in the interview stage, we discuss social media and we discuss our expectations of our new starters. And they have to be active. And a big reason for that is so that their patients know where they're going.
Very interesting.
So
a lesson to be learned in this particular example, probably, which is if you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and do it with the topic that is your comfort zone. So pick a topic that is really close to your heart, that you're about with your eyes closed, like make it easy for yourself, and then things come out, because for sure there's so many things that you are passionate about, medical, that you can talk about. So don't overcomplicate it. Make it simple for yourself in the beginning, and see how it goes. Like, see what is the fact that you have as well. It's actually quite enjoyable to start seeing that, like, on what you're doing and what you're saying. Like, it's really organic. So thanks a lot, Natasha. So to conclude, I have one last, like, moving on from this particular example. So what do you think maybe was preventing consciously or subconsciously that decision, to be on social media, and what do you think is the reasons why physicians are reluctant to do it? They enjoy it.
I think, those people with a medical background are generally very, very ethical. So I think, the conception is that if I go on social media, I'm promoting something that shouldn't necessarily be promoted. And, people should be coming to me because of my good reputation in the market. They shouldn't be looking at me on a jet ski on my social media. Because we all know that there's some in the industry that like to really go for it. But it's about changing their minds. And like I said, going back to it's showing them where you are. It's put a video of you having a cup of coffee on there. People will still watch it if they love you as a practitioner or a doctor. And but I think that's the biggest issue, is that it's the ethics. And gradually now, practitioners and doctors are starting to, albeit a little bit reluctantly, to understand that it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be tacky, and it doesn't have to sort of show false ideas about what they offer, and they can use it as an educational tool. And I think that's more the realization now. And I think ethics is the main reason.
Yeah, so there is this sort of understanding or conception that go on social media, it's not ethical because you are selling like expertise. Right. But again, it's not about selling expertise, it's about giving confidence to the patient that they're going to the right person for their own concern. Because now we all do any service, we always do validation our choice, whether we go to a restaurant or a hotel. We're going to look at the Google reviews, we're going to look at what people say on booking.com. It's very rare that we purchase something and don't research back. And we
Correct.
Patients are doing the same about their doctors nowadays. So I can see some great comments from some of the students. Thank you. I'll give you the opportunity as well to ask any questions that you might have. And I have one last question for Natasha. I get questions from the audience maybe. So are you like practicing in the clinic? How does it go when you have a video, social media? Like, just go and do it? Is there like some practice? What have you learned? Like, how does it go?
I mean, sometimes we practice, sometimes our fabulous social media manager, Coral, just gets us thrown in front of a camera and we don't have much choice. Um, and you know, we do have a social media plan, but we like to see what's going on day to day. If there's something fun going on in the clinic, then we post it. We do have a plan, but in between there's bits and pieces that we just stick in there. We've got great videos of, one of our doctors who's wonderful doing some fantastic bloopers, and when we posted that online, everybody loved it because they know the doctor and they love to see that she's not as perfect as she usually is when she's practicing. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we have a plan, but we just make sure that it's consistent, and we tend to structure it for daily, so each day there's something that will follow through during the week, and then to the end of the month, so that people kind of know what's coming up. So one day it might be an offer, one day it might be a video of a doctor talking about a topic, one day it might just be, something inspirational.
Yes. Yeah, and I thank you. I think you've been very personal with what you said on this session, and I think again, like maybe the main message is don't look for perfection, as you right said, because we can be harsh on ourselves and record something and we look at it and think, I don't look good on it, and we tend to actually judge ourselves rather than content of what we've said. And sometimes the content of the video is great, but we just don't like how it came out, how we sound, how we look. But people love to see people that don't look perfect. So that's the lesson.
Absolutely.
So, just post it and be authentic. And this is what patients are looking for, because they're patients, they're not luxury good buyers. So they're looking for their doctors as well. So thank you so much, Natasha. Let me from the audience today. For those of you who are interested in this topic of communication skills, my message is that definitely we can think that some people are natural at communicating and appearing on social media than others, which is true. Some people have a better interest, a bit for it, but it's a skill that you can learn like any other skill. So you can work on things such as controlling your body language, being aware of the importance of body language and tone of voice rather than the words themselves. Sometimes plays a much bigger bigger role. But Natasha said as well is people judge very quickly. So being aware that the first few seconds of you appearing on video, actually seconds that the most about patients' opinion about you, about what you're saying. So keep it short, but think very carefully how you build your first few seconds and what you say. So we have an event on the 17th of November. It's called the Communication Forum. And actually, we will hear from a doctor who is very successful in video marketing. He will also share tips on how to start activating and engaging, begin your videos on social media to make sure you grab attention from the beginning. We also have a theater coach there, and I think he's in the audience today, Stefan, who is very in actually teaching people to be comfortable with appearing in front of the camera, but also to be more adept at building a meaningful relationship with clients in the clinic. So we look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully, if that's a topic of interest, it's going to be fun. It's not going to be boring, and walk away with inspiration and motivation to also add this, and hopefully all of it make you more successful, more employable in the future. So thank you to everyone for being here today. We have questions from the audience, but of course we can take questions afterwards about our message. It will be recorded and posted on. So thank you, Natasha.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.